It's going to pick us up. We have an Escalade waiting for us, and it's going to take us to the Blade Lounge, and then from there we're going to ultimately board the helicopter. I think there's no security or anything. You just like hop on, put your luggage, and go. So really nice without TSA. This should be a really good time, so I'm pumped about this. So far, so good. So we didn't charter the helicopter entirely, so I think there's actually going to be random people with us on the helicopter, which makes no sense to me because I didn't think more than like 3 people could fit on a helicopter. But we're about to see right now. So that's our Blade right there. So let's go in and start this. So after I entered the private terminal and checked in, they then directed me to the Blade Lounge, where I then met up with the representative, and it was actually really cool in there. As you can see, everything from the art on the wall to the actual couch seemed really modern and like a really cool touch to it. The Blade representative was really awesome and accommodating as well. He gave us water, then he even gave us this really cool hat that I now have. We just arrived just on Brewster Road. Didn't go to like a main terminal. Now we're just in the lounge, greeted, super nice and everything, and then we got some water, checked in, got our wristbands, and then we're going to be boarding sometime within like the next 15-20 minutes, and then apparently it's like a 5-10 minute flight right into New York City, and we'll be good to go. All right, we're about to meet up with our pilot, Miguel, so we're boarding right now. So when our helicopter was ready, we walked directly on the tarmac, heading over to our helicopter, and they're actually pretty strict about showing some of the sensitive information on the aircraft, so we obviously had to blur that. And here we are now approaching the aircraft. You'll see the helicopter right there. That's the one we're going to be taking for this 10-minute ride. And when you get up to this thing, it is crazy. That thing is spinning so fast. I mean, it's obviously not going to be captured on camera because we shoot at 60 FPS, and that thing goes way faster than that. But anyways, we got into the helicopter. This thing was so loud. We had to put on these like earphones. Then we had to obviously strap in with our seatbelts. And then we were ready to depart. All right, guys, so we're about to depart. It's super loud, so I'm not sure if I'm getting picked up. But yeah, this is kind of crazy. This is a very cool experience so far. I can see why a lot of rich and famous people do this, because as you can see, we are skipping over all of the traffic going into New York City. So shout out to Blade, so far so good. And it's only a 5-minute ride, so there's like 3 more minutes left. Shout out to Miguel, our pilot. He's killing it right now. I think he's behind me. I can't look because it's kind of constrained. Yeah, this is really cool. You do not want to stand in front of one.
You already know what I'm going to put there. Come on, chat. You already know. Nominate me so I can lose again. He didn't get nominated for anything? Dog, it's voting. You didn't vote, which I don't even think it's that. I'm going to be honest. I think we have a pretty big community. I'm certain that we did show up, but it is what it is. Some years you're just not going to get nominated, you know?
Goddamn, he really wanted to be on there. They could put him on here like afterwards, right? That's shocking. Yeah, I guess so.
You already know what I'm going to put there. Come on, chat. You already know. Nominate me so I can lose again. He didn't get nominated for anything? Dog, it's voting. You didn't vote, which I don't even think it's that. I'm going to be honest. I think we have a pretty big community. I'm certain that we did show up, but it is what it is. Some years you're just not going to get nominated, you know?
Goddamn, he really wanted to be on there. They could put him on here like afterwards, right? That's shocking. Yeah, I guess so.
You already know what I'm going to put there. Come on, chat. You already know. Nominate me so I can lose.
За 2024 година предварителната стойност за броя на загиналите на пътя в България е около 74 смъртни случая на 1 милион души население. В абсолютни числа в България през 2024 са загинали 480.
If you're a grappler, wrestler, this is an exercise you didn't know you needed. Adaptations to speed and power along with your strength. So let's cover how you can do this efficiently, effectively, where it fits in your program, and the different variations you can do. Always check the first links in the description. Free jiu-jitsu, MMA, and boxing strength and conditioning blueprints, and a 7-day free trials of the training app. They're all down there. So when we're talking about the floating pull, we're typically talking about the clean and the snatch variation. If you're not familiar, a snatch variation is with a wider grip or a snatch grip. Clean variation would be, honestly, pretty much your typical deadlift grip. And by floating, it just means that the bar doesn't touch the floor once you've picked it up. So once you've done the first rep, you're lowering the bar back down, but the plates don't touch the floor. You stop about 1 inch off the floor and you just reverse the movement. As you can probably imagine, it is pretty brutal because you have to support this load for the entire set. So if you're doing a set of 5, you're supporting this heavy load while you're coming up and down. You got that eccentric on it, which you don't typically have on a deadlift. And then you're having to reverse that to come back up. And you're having to maintain postures that are important for grappling. If anyone's familiar where you having to keep heads up or very big chest postures when you're in someone's guard. In some instances, having to have that posture while standing when you're grappling. Not so much in wrestling, even though
Korea has won Worlds 10 times in 15 seasons. This year at Worlds, 3 out of the 4 teams in the semi-finals were all Korean. Players from around the world revere the Korean server as peak League of Legends, and teams around the world import Korean players for their high level of skill. But why? Why is Korea so good at League of Legends? Is there something in the water? Are they simply built different? Or is their solo queue just that much better than every other region? Well, it actually goes much deeper than just their gameplay. Let me show you why the country of South Korea became the perfect storm to create the greatest players in League of Legends history. It's July 1997, and foreign investors have gotten cold feet with their investments in Thailand. The Thai government was forced to let the value of the Thai baht be decided by the market instead of being tied to the US dollar, and so the Thai baht begins to collapse. This creates a ripple effect for the whole Asia region, as foreign debt to GDP ratios rose from 100% to 167%. The Indonesian rupiah falls alongside it. Then the third country to feel the brunt of the Asian financial crisis was none other than South Korea, where the South Korean won plummeted in value. Businesses in South Korea were operating on cheap credit and foreign investment, and they weren't getting their expected returns. This
oh yeah, I'm trans. I'm like, God. You really trying to, and then the whole thing that really irked me is they're bamboozling these men. I went out a few times because, dude, Austin's really free-spirited, and, there's a lot of hippies and stuff like that. So I remember going out a few times, and, there's like groups of people you're acquaintances with. You're not really like, that's my boy Travis. Me and him go back, like Randy Moss, and we go back like a receding hairline, and nothing like that. Like, these aren't guys I'm like really cool with. Like people you're acquaintances with, you go out in a big group and like, oh, here's my friend. It's like 80 of you people, 80 of you guys going out, And I remember going out one time, and it was clearly a guy that was trans or whatever. And then like one of the guys was like just straight making out with them and like hooking up with them, and like went home with them afterwards. And I was like, brother, like he had no idea. I was like, oh my God. And then the next time I saw him, I was like, bro, so how'd it go? He's like, oh, dude, it was amazing. I was like, oh my God, bro. I was like, get me out of here, bro. Austin is insane. Austin is insane, bro. I can't do it, man. This is too much. Okay, I saw this video, bro. I saw this video and just immediately thought, lock this guy up. Okay, the Fanta in the massive container already strike one. The Cheese Whiz on the Ziploc baggy hot dogs. Just straight glizzies to the head. Not just one, not just two, but straight 7 to the skull. This man is the Glizzinator. Oh, he's double fisting glizzies. These look like boiled wieners, BT dubs. That is crazy work. That dude might as well start an OF page, because good Lord, he was straight taking glizzies to the chin.
Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of hotness.
Okay, I rate myself a 5.5.
Okay, baby girl. I'd give you a 4, but a 5.5 is a little bit of a jump, but I'm cool with it.
A 5.5?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna up the ante, baby. I'm gonna call you a solid 7.
Oh, heck yeah!
And a DC 8, actually.
A DC 8?
You are a DC 8.
Oh my God, I love you.
Rate your
Wait. Isn't a DC-8 a plane? DC-8, a Douglas DC-8. He was calling her fat.
big back.
Call you a DC-8. Oh, here we go. I found a chick chat that all of us men may actually like.
What's your spiciest take?
I think guys with small penises are hot.
Hey, right here. You know what I mean? Shout out to her, man. Hey, she really gassing me up,
That's awesome.
If it's too big, it's just painful, and then it's just
right. If it's too big, it hurts, Micro pins are the wave anyways. You know, less than an inch is where you want to be.
No point.
Yeah,
The smaller, the better.
you probably don't have a hard time finding guys then, huh?
I do have a boyfriend. I love him, and
So are you saying that your boyfriend has a small weenie?
no.
Yes.
How about this is for life. You're a liar.
What's your spiciest take?
That's crazy work. I was like, oh man, she's my kind of girl there, Chad. I like the small ones. Next time your girl's like, babe, I like yours. It's small. The big ones hurt. Be like, baby, I like yours. It's loose. The tight ones hurt. Just do that. I talked about this the other day, but I saw this clip and I was like, this is good. Let's talk about this again.
I have a question for the men. I just saw a video that said a man doesn't look at another man and judge him by his house, his money, his car. No. Men judge other men by their wives. And if you have a hot wife, you've won. And
there is some validity to this, and chat, put one in the chat if you agree. A lot of us men will see other men with hot wives, and basically the equation that we're doing in our minds is we're saying, okay, his personality is the equality to her beauty. So like how cool you are as a guy is usually how hot of a chick you can bag. So like if you're like I consider myself a 6, I would consider Cass a 9 or an 8 or a 9 or a 10, depending on if she has makeup on, blah blah blah, what fit she's wearing and things like that. But I would give her like a solid 9. She's really pretty conventionally. The reason I know this is because we've been out and about, and men will approach her while I'm right beside her. It's ridiculous. Men will approach her, hey, do you work here? Hey, what? Like they shoot their shot at her all the time. So we've had that social validation to know that she is pretty. So we know that, right? Because if dudes aren't approaching your chick, you know, newsflash, she's not that hot. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if dudes are approaching your girl while you're out with her, your girl's fine. But I think other men look at other men and say, basically on how pretty your girl is how good your personality is as a guy. So more than likely, if your chick is good looking, you are a pretty cool dude. I think there's some validity to that. Now, is it 100% true? Is that always the case? Probably not. But I think in general for me, if I see a dude with a hot chick and I see that he's regular schmegular like me, I see he's like a 6, like an average guy, maybe a little bit above average, I already can bet that he's got either A, a really good personality, or B, he's got a lot of money, or C, he's like accomplished. He has something worth value that girl saw and was like, oh, I want to get with him. He's more than likely just not like a bum.
I do have
wrong one. Here we go.
Question for the gentleman. Why do nose rings, specifically septum rings on women, why is it an issue? I need you guys to lay it all out for me because I want to understand what the big deal is.
Well, first of all, you've had a ton of plastic surgery, which looks terrible. Your boobs look fake. Your face looks fake. All of you looks fake. You look like Jafar. So I'll keep it a buck right off rip on that. But let's just get off into the comments and see what some of the guys said. You know, it reminds me of this, and I would completely agree with this. It reminds me of this. It reminds me of a bull. Democratic Party. It's like a liberal white woman. See, or this right here. This right here. Straight up pig, brother. That's what it looks like. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is fair a woman which is without discretion. Yeah, dude. For me, it's they're ugly. Number 1, they don't look good. Number 2, it looks like you have boogers hanging from your nose. And number 3, septum ring theory. So you wear your trauma as a personality trait, and more than likely anything you say out of your freaking mouth is going to be feelings driven and emotionally driven and not facts or logic. So to me, it's just not attractive. Us as men, I know this is a crazy concept, ladies, but us as men, we are attracted to the natural beauty of a woman. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I like women that are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, no kids, quaint, uplifting, elegant, empathetic, nurturing, and natural. Shibba and I should have bought a Honda, put it on a t-shirt. I like women in their natural state. Your natural hair, your natural eyelashes, your natural lips. I like the way a woman was built by God. That's what I like. All these enhancements with the multiple nose rings, the septum ring, the eyebrow piercings, the fake boobs, the tattoos. Like, bro, leave all that at the door. You want to get a traditionally high-value man, you need to be as natural as possible. And you need to be the least amount of a headache as possible. You need to be his piece and not a piece of the problem. Shibadanaya should have bought a Honda, put it on a t-shirt. So many of you guys have asked, Levi, what are you saying before you said Shibadanaya should have bought a Honda? Excuse me, I'm saying should have bought a Shibadanaya. Don't know how to spell it. Don't ask me. I can't tell you. But it's a culmination of, I got this from Cat Williams, and he said, should have bought a Honda. and he said that, or Shiba Anaya shut up about a Honda. He said something like that during a stand-up special, and I took it, and then I added, put it on a t-shirt. It's just a stupid tagline. It really means nothing. It's kind of like 6, 7. It really is useless and meaningless. So I just say it because it's stupid. So sorry to burst your bubble.
that women do on their dating profiles that turns you guys off? Anyways, let me know so that I can tell all the other ladies, and then all of us are going to get more dates as a result. So
Yeah, the birthday makeup, that's a big one. I think most men are like, yeah, I'm kind of sick of that. And then also you only out at bars and nightclubs. Like, it's weird to me that a lot of women don't realize that you can't have a hobby that's going out to the bar, going out to the club. That can't be a hobby. That just means you're a runner.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
Oh, I got my first "Hey girl" DM today. Quick story. I met a man at the grocery store. I met him in the wild, which is really cool. That doesn't happen often. And he was really good looking. This one's 6'2", not 5'9", and his ears were relatively proportioned correctly. So yeah, that was right then and there.
I guess I'd be DQ'd then because I got those Dumbo ears. I can hear what you're thinking.
Test. Facial hair, tatted, my type of guy, right? So we met for a drink right after the grocery store, and then we talked for hours. He could hold a conversation. He had opinions. He was funny. He made me laugh. Things were looking good, right? So we talked like for 4 hours. That drink just led to a whole conversation. Then he asked me out again last night, and so I did. I went out with him last night. We had dinner. Again, great conversation, made me laugh. We had so much in common. There was chemistry, definitely.
I'm loving the part of this story where you get to the point.
Chemistry. So then I get home and I get a DM, and it's his girlfriend. She is there to tell me that he has a girlfriend and he's had one for quite a while. And she thought I should know. And he said, okay. So I called him and I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, you know, things have been rocky. I'm going to break up with her. I've been wanting to break up with her, and then when I met you, it gives me more reason to do it. And I promise I'll call her right now. I'll end it. And I said, you don't do it on my account. If that's what you want to do for yours, go ahead. But after this conversation, I'm blocking you. And he said he couldn't understand why. He was like, why? I'm leaving her. No. I messaged her and I let her know that I blocked him and I would not be contacting him again. And she thanked me and she said, I knew you would be a girl's girl. No, I told her I'm not a girl's girl. I'm not a girl's girl. I don't consider myself to be one. I've said it before. Too many women on here vote against their own rights, and I'm not down with that. So you don't know who you can trust around here. So I told her I did this for me because he has already shown me that he's a liar and he's a cheater, and I will never let somebody treat me like that.
Right, that's why I'm saying, I always say this, if they're cheating on you, or if they cheat with you, you're next to be cheated on. Shibanaya should have bought a Honda, put it on a t-shirt. And then speaking of cheating, if you guys want to check and see if your girl's cheating, you should go check out Cheater Buster AI. I have it in the description below. Shout out to the guys from Cheater Buster AI. It's a simple app. You put in name, number, location, and you can see if your girl's on Tinder or see if she's on any other dating apps. Speaking of cheating, I found a diabolical clip that I wanted to play. She called her boyfriend to order food for us, not knowing she laid up with me.
Hello.
What's up?
What you doing?
Girl, just got home. What you doing?
Nothing. With my friend. Can you order me some food?
Yeah, what you want?
I think is Chick-fil-A still open?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. Probably like Applebee's. Applebee's, yeah.
Applebee's? You ate today?
No, that's why I'm asking you to send me some food.
What you want?
Hold on.
Just get whatever. I'm gonna eat whatever.
Can you do the 2 for $20? It's the loaded mashed potatoes, the chicken, and then the fajitas.
She just got that.
And two large lemonades. The fajitas and then the 2 for $20.
2 for $20?
Mm-hmm.
What you need 2 meals for?
Cause it's me and my friend. We hungry. My friend, you don't know her.
I don't know her.
Unreal. Unreal. She's calling her man. I'll tell y'all a little story. When I was in college, I was talking to this chick, and I later found out that she had a man. I was like, oh wow, you got a whole man. And she kept bucking with me. And you know, whatever, I'm cool with it. It was casual for me. Casual coitus. The casual coitus click, triple C's up. And I wasn't too mad at it. Cool, whatever. I'm not taking you serious, clearly. But then it got to the point where we kept hanging out, and she's like, well, I want to take this a little serious. I want to date you. I want to be with you, baby. I was like, yeah, no.
Won't they do?
I would never date you. She's like, why? I was like, because you were cheating on your boyfriend with me. When a girl cheats on her boyfriend to get with you, brother, man, you're next. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. You're next. You can't ever make somebody that was cheating on their current boyfriend to get with you. A lot of guys are like, oh man, that's a badge of honor though. She was cheating on her man to get with me. Brother, you're next. It happened to me in high school. I got with a girl who was cheating on her man to get with me, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna date her. I'm gonna be her knight in shining armor. I'm gonna, you know, I'm really gonna be together. I was like 16, was young, dumb, and full of cum. And then like a year later, she cheats on me, and I was like, but that's what happens. You got to learn these lessons, chat. And the thing is, chat, I speak from a level of experience. I don't just talk about these things like I've never done them. I've walked and talked this stuff. I was obsessed with being attractive to women from the ages of like 12 to 25. Got a long track record of trying, very long track record. I remember in middle school, I was like, I want a girlfriend. And then I was addicted to understanding the female psyche, understanding what relationships, understanding what women found attractive and trying to embody that. You know, you got to smell good, you got to look good, you got to walk good, you got to have people around you that validate who you are. There's so many things that go into it. Now it's kind of second nature. But one thing I used to do as a kid, chat, put a 1 in the chat if you ever did this. I used to think that people were always watching me and that I was on camera and that it was my life was like the Truman Show. But this was before the Truman Show was even a thing though. I used to think, oh, I'm being watched, so I need to carry myself a certain way. And in college, I would wear suits every day. And you know, in college, a lot of kids are wearing sweatpants, slides. They're not taking classes serious. They're not taking their aesthetic serious. But I was like, I'm going to wear a suit every day. I'm going to look nice. I'm going to look presentable. So the people around me see me as a point of authority. But then also my professors and my teachers say, Levi, he shows up and he's serious. And you will see and you will feel different when you wear a suit. You will see other people treat you differently when you wear a suit. I believe, and put a 1 in the chat if you agree, I believe 75% of someone's perception of you is the way that you look. If you dress accordingly, they'll perceive you accordingly. You wear a suit, you'll be treated with respect. You look like a slob, they'll treat you like that. Because people are going to assess you and go, what level of self-respect do they have? And more than likely, they're just going to give you a little bit more than that. If I'm wearing a suit and I'm in good shape, my hair's done. I mean, right now I look like Paul Bunyan's cousin. Because I'm all hairy, supposed to get a haircut, couldn't, birth, you know how it is, kiddos, it happens, whatever, I'll get my haircut eventually. But when I go out, I always try to look presentable, because you never know who you're going to meet. Cass and I were at a coffee shop the other day, we're just walking around, and some guy pulls up, and he hops out of his car and comes out to shake my hand. He's like, hey, are you Levi? This sounds really creepy. I was like, yeah, that's who I am. And he goes, I work for I think he's the Chamber of Commerce here in Abilene. And he's like, I see you online all the time. You're like famous. I was like, bro, I'm not famous. Nowhere close to famous. I'm a regular dude. But he's like, I just wanted to shake your hand. It's so cool that he's like, I didn't know we had influencers that lived here. And I was like, I guess you can call me that. I don't know what I'm influencing, but I'm more just an entertainer, I would consider myself. But he came up and literally shook my hand and was like, I love what you do. Keep it up. Yeah, that's awesome. He's like, I'd love to pick your brain one day about like some stuff that, you know, you cover. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, let me know. So we added each other on Instagram and the rest is history. But I was dressed well and Cass was dressed well, even though she was pregnant at the time. But if I would have been dressed like a slob, he probably would have saw me and been like, I don't know if I want to approach this guy. But we were both dressed up. We both look good. And when people meet you, if you look good, they're going to treat you with respect. Too many people nowadays, like I almost missed the 40s and 50s, chat, because I feel like back in those days, everybody dressed up nice because that was the only choice. Pay attention the next time you go out and see if you can see how many people are dressed in business casual. If you're not in a city center. If you're in a city center, you're around a Chase Bank, you're downtown Austin, you're going to see a lot of that. But if you're not in a city center, you're probably not going to see a lot of people dressed in business cash. People don't wear suits anymore. That's why I chose on this channel. I was like, I'm going to have a suit and I'm going to wear it. I got this inspiration from Kevin Samuels, number 1, but number 2, Dr. Disrespect, because he shows up the same stuff every day. He created like an avatar or character of himself. And now when I put on this jacket and I put on this crushed velvet turtleneck, it's almost like my uniform. I get into a certain mindset. I'm like, I'm Levi Nix now. And so dressing that way when you go out will do the same thing. Now, if you have a job where you have to get down and dirty, I respect that. And I appreciate you if you have to do that. Because a lot of people don't want to get out there and get their hands dirty. But at the same time, when you're going out in the weekends and stuff like that, don't dress like a slob. But also pay attention the next time you go out. See who's in business casual. But then see how many people are dressed so casually they just look sloppy. Dirty shoes, baggy pants, dirt on them, pajamas, bonnets. Just people aren't as well kempt as they used to be. I don't know. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
To do when meeting a man in the wild doesn't work, and then we go on a Hinge, it also doesn't work. What are we supposed to do? What are we doing? What's option number 3?
So this woman is on
go to church, go to a singles event, maybe try to go out with your friends, and maybe if one of your friends has a friend, try to meet them. Like people really rely on the dating apps a little too much, in my opinion.
In one of my previous videos, I asked the single ladies where we're going to meet men when finding them in the wild doesn't work and online dating doesn't work either. So I asked, what's option 3? Where are we going? What are we doing? And a lot of the men commented and said single women should be going to Home Depot and typically male-dominated stores. So that's what I did. Okay, today I went to Home Depot. I looked confused walking through the aisles, expecting to meet somebody or have somebody approach me. Do you know what I walked away with? Ribbon. So, no man.
You're not going to meet your husband at Home Depot, honey. I hate to break it to you, but that's definitely not happening. You're not meeting him at Home Depot. The guys that are going to Home Depot, in chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. The guys that are going to Home Depot are going there for a reason, and they're going to go, they're going to grab, and then they're going to leave.
Fan of her when you're 51 years old. You're almost 52. I have never dated anybody who is age appropriate or even close to my age, okay? I matched with a guy last week who was 53 years old, and he was so fit and had a great job, had this fantastic backstory that was just like all of the pieces that for me personally, not saying for anybody else, but for me personally, would signify all of the traits in a good man that I am looking for. He had not been divorced. He had been widowed. And I know that's like a sad story, but I think most women would agree that that's kind of like a heartwarming.
Widowed, I agree. Widowed is better than going through a divorce because widowed is out of your control. You were at least trying to make it work.
Story if you don't remarry. He was a veteran. He was still in his older age getting advanced degrees and pursuing things. And like I said, he's super, super fit. He's so youthful. His kids are the same age as mine. And he's still like setting goals and working toward them. And he's retired twice from 2 different professions. And he just keeps going and making new professions for himself because he's not sick of learning. And that is what I'm dying for in a partner, because I feel like that's sort of like how I am mentally. Anyway, so we start talking, and he is so funny and he's so charismatic, and we're just like on it when somebody's on your wavelength. And when I'm talking to him, I feel like I'm 20 years old, and he sounds like he's 20 years old to me. And I know that that's a good sign. And then we're just sort of vibing, talking, and he's like, God, I've not talked to anybody like this, like ever. And all of a sudden he says, oh my God, I just realized where you lived. And I'm like, how did you not know? And he said, no, like, do you not know where I live? And I said, you live in downtown Tampa. And he said, no, I don't. I live in downtown this whole ass other county. And I was like, wait, what? His profile just says downtown, and I thought it was weird. And I even asked him about, like, what made you move to Florida and pick to live downtown? Because downtown is just a sea of 25-year-old scenesters. Like, no age-appropriate man with a real job and money would choose to live in a sea of these kids. And so I did think it was weird that he wasn't like, yeah, I don't really like it. Like, it's just because he doesn't live there. Anyway, he was like, it's fine. We're going to make this work. And we ended up being like 2 hours and change apart. And that's fine for me. You know, the last person that I dated kind of seriously was 3 hours away. So I don't mind that so much. And he doesn't have, like, he just lives by himself. So it's not like he's got kids that he needs to rearrange around or anything like that. We were both like, it's going to be fine. Anyway, we have talked like more consistently than I have probably spoken with anybody recently, where I feel like I really got a sense of who he was. But it came up to the weekend. And he was, the whole time we were talking, he'd be like so good about like, I'm going into a meeting, so I won't be available, or I'm doing this, or I'm out on a walk. You know, so when you just disappear, you're not disappearing. The person knows like, okay, it's like saying goodbye when you're on a telephone call, but it's how you do it in text. So he's really good about that. He mentions you might be going out of town for the weekend. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. He mentions he's leaving work about like 3 that day. And he texts me, I text him back at like 3, and I never hear from him again. Which is like, okay. I mean, like that night I was like, oh, I kind of miss talking to him, but it's fine. Most people would probably, I guess, go out on a Friday night. I mean, I wouldn't because I'm a homebody, but okay. And then it got to like midday Saturday and I just get a quick text from him that was like not initiating conversation. It felt like, you know, I'm acknowledging you, I'm holding you on the line, but I'm not wanting to talk. And so I just didn't respond back. I was out with my kids. And when I got home, I sent him a quick text and heard nothing from him. And then that night before I went to bed, I was like, God, I'm not hearing from him again. This is like weird, you know? It's just a little bit weird. It's one thing one night, but two night, most people don't do that who are truly interested. Like, anyway, so I just sent him a text that said like, oh gosh, boy, you really weren't kidding about that quick marriage and anticlimactic subsequent divorce, you know, like haha, making a joke about us just like not talking for the past 2 days. And I heard from him late the next day, which is exactly what I anticipated would happen. I had this whole thought process about how he's going to show back up when all of his free time is over, and he'll be back on like work schedule where he has like these little breaks where he can fit me in. And I was like, so, but when it's his free time, it's like I don't exist in the world, you know? And sure enough, so he texts me and he says, I'm responding apparently to my, you know, subsequent divorce comment where I was kidding. I made it clear that that was a joke, but he said, you know, I'm so sorry I went to this really big neighborhood Halloween thing. I didn't have pockets. I left my phone out on the counter. Somebody thought it was their phone, picked it up, and I did not get my phone back until midnight that night when they finally drove it back. I texted him, I read it, and I texted him back and said, no explanation needed, no worries. Like, and then he sent some like snarky comment about like losing photos of me. Like, oh, I don't care if I lose my bank account information. Like, we're screwed without our phones, but you know, I'll lose the photos of you. And that's like not the way that he talked to me before, you know? And I just ignored it. And my thought process was this, like, I just was like, I'm not responding to him again. If you lost your phone, if that truly...
Jesus Christ, this 50-year-old woman can't explain something in 30 seconds. I'm sorry, Chad. I just robbed y'all of your time. Have y'all seen the Sydney Sweeney thing?
I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, you know, and conveniently some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
I don't think that it's not that that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
You've made a really good case for keeping your thoughts and your life separate from that work. But the risk is that, you know, there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like, I don't want to see Christy because of that. Like, do you worry about that?
No.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like, that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
I love it, dude. W for Sydney Sweeney, bro. W for her, man. Like this, and they're clowning this chick, bro, online.
Since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
I love it, dude. But this just goes back to like the chick on the left. You just see like desperation, deceit, smugness, jealousy, envy. You see all these emotions just exuding from her body. Loki, do you want one of these? Sit. Wait. Oh. Wait. Free. But on the left, you see desperation, deceit, smugness, jealousy, envy. And on the right, what do you see from Sydney Sweeney? A level of confidence, calmness, peace. You know, I think that's a whole metaphor for something that we're seeing in the climate of men and women today. And even the left women and the right women, you know. But there's, like, Sydney Sweeney's even doubling down on this. That whole American Eagle, I don't know if this is in Tokyo or Japan or whatever, but, like, the fact that we live in a climate right now where you could think that's racist or genetically superior, like, bro, you know, just this image alone, I don't even know if you guys can see it, but this image alone with Sydney Sweeney, that chick's face, belongs in the Smithsonian. I just can't believe we're to the point where you making a joke about, like a, what would that word be, a pun? Great genes. A pun is racist now. Like, we've gotten so far away from what's funny and what's cool that now it's just terrible. And I think the main reason is because the left, especially the women, are going so far left. Women don't vote woke because men are mean to them. Women are woke, and it's a worldwide divide. A wide ideology gap is opening up between young men and women in countries across the world. In South Korea, men are going really conservative and women are going lib. In the US, women are very lib, men are conservative. In Germany, it's the same thing, UK. So this is just the woke mind virus. Women vote woke because society is failing in its most sacred function, the production of a viable man. Which is what's crazy to me. That's why I always say men have traditionally always stayed kind of the same. We're very right-leaning. Like, chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. A lot of men, I think, are more traditional and more conservative than left-leaning. Most men are, at least. And in my opinion, Sydney Sweeney did a great job here of deflecting and be like, you know what, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not going to answer that question. It's none of your business. And I feel like they're trying to catch her in a gotcha, but I think we're just sick of it. I think men, especially, we're just so sick of it. And I think that's why so many men are choosing to be alone, is because that's what they have to deal with right now. The women on the left are insufferable. Totally insufferable. I got a buddy who's a male feminist, and just watching him be castrated is the most pathetic thing I think I've ever seen a friend do. I've seen friends do some pretty pathetic things, but him, like, posting this stuff about being a male feminist and, you know, women's empowerment and just hating Trump all the time. And I'm like, bro, you just seem like such a soy boy. And then his girl runs him ragged. You know, she's got me running circles today. I'm just like, bruh, like, just lost all sense of manhood. It truly sucks because I love the guy. He's a great guy. I've known him for a very long time. Went to college together. And at one point in time, he was, you know, like a leader. But he's just been socially castrated. It really does suck. But the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, I think it's a great thing. But it goes back to women on the left, or women just in general, being more woke. And here's another one. Here's a good clip. I just wish men were more upfront. Oh, here, let me publicly humiliate you to your face to millions on social media. Let's get into it.
Guys, I'm on the street and this man just came up to me and asked if I wanted to go home with him right now.
That's what I said.
What did you say? What did you say?
I do trying to go home.
Why would I go home with a random man?
I didn't say that either.
I just came outside. You saw me come outside.
I'm a printer. I'm a printer.
So?
Gals, guys. Hey, gals, guys.
Ew, ew. Please get away from me. Please get away from me.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, the worst thing that she can say is no, bruh. This is what's brutal now. Is back in my day, a woman could reject you, but she wouldn't put it on the social media. She wouldn't put it on the Facebook and the chat snaps and the Instagram chats. But now you're getting posted everywhere. And now that dude's face is everywhere. And now maybe his employer sees it. And, you know, that's the problem.
You can see 5 planets with just your eyes. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, all of them show up as bright dots in the night sky if you know where to look. Even Uranus, under perfect conditions, might just barely be visible. But Neptune, you'd never see it. It's too far, too dim, too distant. Averaging 30 astronomical units from the Sun, roughly 4.5 billion kilometers. Its immense distance makes it the outermost of the 8 planets. In fact, it's the only planet in our solar system that was discovered before it was ever seen. And we've barely looked at it since. Now with the James Webb Space Telescope, we're finally seeing Neptune again, not in visible light, but through heat and haze, in wavelengths no human eye could see. And what it's showing us is strange, a planet colder than ever recorded, a glowing ring system no one expected, and auroras that stretch across latitudes in ways we don't understand. So what is this place really? What's happening on Neptune? And why does it still feel like a planet we barely know? In the early 1800s, astronomers were tracking Uranus, a planet that had only recently joined the list. Over the years, they noticed something strange. It wasn't moving exactly the way it should. Its orbit kept drifting slightly, but consistently away from where Newton's laws said it should be. At first, they blamed the data. Maybe it was an observational error. Maybe it was just the limits of their telescopes. But then came Urbain Le Verrier, a mathematician who didn't buy the idea that the data was the problem. He figured the problem wasn't with Uranus. It was with something else pulling on it, something they hadn't seen yet. He took the anomalies and the tiny discrepancies in Uranus's orbit and used them to reverse engineer the position of the unknown object. Not roughly, precisely. He calculated where in the sky this planet had to be for the numbers to make sense. He didn't know what it looked like. He didn't know how big it was, just that it had to be there. That alone is impressive, but what happened next is what made history. He sent his findings to Johann Galle, an astronomer in Berlin. Galle pointed his telescope exactly where the math told him to look, and that same night, Neptune was found. First try, exact location. A planet, discovered not by sight but by math. That's never happened before, and it hasn't happened since. Neptune is the only planet we've ever found without seeing it first. It revealed itself through gravity, pulling on Uranus just enough to leave fingerprints. That was the clue. And it worked. It's also worth pointing out what that discovery didn't do. It didn't launch an era of Neptune exploration. There were no telescopic campaigns, no sudden flurry of attention. It was noted, confirmed, and then mostly ignored for over a century. Part of the problem was how far Neptune is. It's dim. It moves slowly. It doesn't grab attention the way Saturn or Jupiter do. The only thing that made Neptune visible was math, and math doesn't glow. A few days after Neptune was confirmed, astronomers found its largest moon, Triton. But even that didn't shift the focus. Neptune stayed in the background. Not much detail, no missions, no plans, just a confirmed dot at the edge of the system. We've only been to Neptune once, and it wasn't a mission designed just for Neptune either. It was Voyager 2, doing its grand tour of the outer planets. It flew past Jupiter, then Saturn, Uranus, and finally, in 1989, it reached Neptune. That was the last stop before heading out into interstellar space.
So check.
It didn't orbit, it didn't slow down. It just flew straight
airplanes
through.
Fly.
But in that one pass, it gave us almost
up to
everything
one?
we know about Neptune today.
I sound like the guy in the
It
Matrix.
got closer to
You ever
Neptune than it did to
marvel
any
at
other
an
planet,
airplane?
just 5,000 kilometers above the cloud tops. That close approach gave us our first real images of the planet. Not just a blur, not just a dot, but proper high-resolution photos. And what those images showed was not at all what scientists expected. At nearly 49,000 kilometers across, almost 4 times Earth's diameter, Neptune revealed itself as a colossal ice giant. They thought Neptune would be calm, cold, distant, and probably uneventful. But Voyager saw movement. Fast winds, active weather, huge systems swirling across the atmosphere. That's when it recorded the fastest winds in the solar system, over 2,000 kilometers per hour.